I know it's the playoffs, but does that help?
Yeah, I mean, there's comfort. I mean, there's, I guess, familiarity there. It's, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I'm not really looking at that. I think we know more to expect. Last series, we did too. I mean, it was exactly kind of what we thought. There was a very low scoring series, and, the numbers didn't really matter individually. It was just about getting that one extra goal every game. So I think the final scoring last series was 15-14, and when you have a series like that, I mean, it's the little things that matter the most, and that's still going to matter this series. But yeah, I think there's a good chance we're going to need to score more goals than 15 this series for sure.
Your game seems to translate very well to the regular season. There's a lot of open ice. Is it harder to transfer what you do to that tight game in the playoffs?
Yes and no. I think you find other ways to be a factor, and I don't think there was very few guys in that last series that were offensively what they usually are, and the guys that did get going were guys that had some success early and got a little bit of feel, and there wasn't a lot of puck possession. There was no time and space, so you got to, like I said, you got to find other ways to have a factor on the game, and I think. I was happy with a lot of the stuff the way I was able to contribute off the score sheet, and but at the end of the day, I'm an offensive player that needs to contribute in that area, and this is a series we're going to need to score some goals. So I know it's a very it's not a different mindset in terms of how you have to play, but it's going to be a different type of series for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, not even scoring the goals, it's creating the skating, the open ice. It seemed like as the series went on, you were able to do that.
Yeah, I think I was pretty uptight in game one. I just didn't know what to expect. I haven't this isn't as much as I'm a 33-year-old, 15-year vet. It's I've never been in a position where I've been a team that has such a great chance to win a cup and at the top of the conference, and and then you play a team that could have arguably been at the top of the conference with us had they been healthy all year, and you enter right into that. It's tight checking. There's a history with the two teams, and it was a brand new experience for me, and one I'm glad I got. And you never know when you can tap into that going down the road, and it was. I've never been through anything like that in terms of series. It was the hardest hockey I've ever played in my life, and at any level. And I think both teams would probably say the same. So, this team. It's going to, like I said, it's probably going to be a little different series. You don't change your mindset. You don't change the things that make you successful in the last one. But yeah, I mean, it'll be a little more high octane this time around, and maybe a little bit less of a chess match. And although I think when we're able to make it that way, it benefits us with our depth and how we play.
And then the last two home games have been really good. First two were fine, but not,
I think game two was really good. I think game one was our worst game of the series for sure. Yeah.
But so now you got two at home again.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk about that at all? Like, we need to come out here and make home ice matter.
You don't need to talk about it. I mean, that team's so good at home. We've been good at home, but we're also a good road team. The nice thing is we know that we can win in any building, whether it's ours or somebody else's, and that speaks to our depth because we're not the biggest benefit of having home ice is line matching, and that's something we don't really do. We Pete trusts all of our lines to play against anybody, and that really helps going. That helps your game to translate for home and road. I've played on teams where it felt like you were a totally different team because of the matchup. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there will be some this series for sure, but I think, yeah, we definitely know you don't want to be in that. I don't know if I've had a worse feeling in hockey than that day after the going 0-2 last series. So I think everyone knows in the back of our mind we want to, not have that happen again.
You've gotten to see Wyatt Johnston now for a season and a series. I mean, what have you learned about him and how a determined young man he is on the ice out there?
Yeah, you know what? He's kind of got that kind of ice water vein disposition. Very very laid back kid, calm. He's mature. He had his ups and downs throughout the regular season. I think kind of like everybody did. There's the way we're structured, you're going to have hot streaks, you're going to have cold streaks, things like that. And he really started to trend upward at the end of the year. I think Stank coming up and being in the lineup, they found some chemistry. And then Jamie got their line was our best line down the stretch, and their line was our best line in that last series. So, but it's going to take. He's a tremendous player, and I think a lot of us want to kind of join him at his level of game, and I know we got guys that can do that, and him and Otter were our best players in that first series, and we're going to need them to keep going, but we expect other guys in this series to get going as well.
You know Nathan McKinnon very well, and he's a hard finalist. And
Yeah.
can you put a number on how many challenges it is to deal with that guy on
Yeah, no, he's obviously a gifted player, and I think between him, Rantanen, and Makar, I mean that's a pretty big three-headed monster. They're going to play a ton. Everyone's going to have to pitch in, trying to shut them down. So I think the best way to play against a team like this is play in their end and make them defend, and then when they do have the puck, just know that they're out there and limit their time and space. I mean, you're not going to shut them down, but you can limit them, and that's the way you play guys like them, like McDavid, Draisaitl. These guys that are really dominant one-on-one players. I think that's the only way to defend them.
Have you been on both sides of the break in between, the short turnaround, obviously, and a little bit lengthier one?
Yep. In 19, when we beat Tampa with Columbus, we had like a week off, and we didn't know who we were playing until 2 days before.
Yeah.
Exact same situation they've been in. And I think there's advantages to both. We lost game 1. Boston was kind of still in Game 7 mode when they played us, and they beat us in Game 1 in overtime, and we won Game 2. But I mean, I think I don't really think it shakes out one way or another. I think the way that we're structured, we have some D-men playing some big minutes, but up front, our forward minutes are very spread out and quite low compared to other teams. So I think the wear and tear that way is easier to manage. So hopefully that plays to our advantage when you only have a day in between.